Hi everybody, it's Dr. Magna from JR'sFullVet.com. This is Stella. She is here today to be spayed, and one of the questions I get a lot is how do I know when to spay my dog? Really, it should be a discussion that you have with your veterinarian, and it should be completely dependent on your dog and their individual breed and the reason that you have your dog. So if you got your dog for a breeding dog, then that's certainly a conversation that we're going to have about when it's ideal to breed her and then when it's ideal to spay her. If you got her to be a companion, then the discussion should be centered around what kind of things will be influenced by spaying and how to make those decisions based on the breed and your lifestyle. Really, I think for most people, if you got your dog to be a companion, then it should be somewhere around 6 to 8 months old. There are some studies that have been done recently on spaying later in life because it reduces their chance of some cancers and some bone joint disease stuff. So certainly that's a discussion to have with your vet. The other thing that it's important to talk about is that veterinarians in general, we're managing population dynamics. So for some of these dogs, it will calm them down. It will help with behavior issues, and it's one of the things to talk about with them. Other things to talk about go ahead. Excuse me. Okay. Other things to talk about are, when she's ready. So ideally, we want to have her baby deciduous teeth gone. So this is her adult canine. So she is over 6 months old and that deciduous canine is gone. And you want to check both sides. So she's good in the dental department. The other thing that I talk about is making sure that her joints and her bones have developed normally. The other thing that I talk about is a recessed vulva. There are some dogs, especially in labs, I see it more often, that we've spayed them so early that their external stuff doesn't always get to develop normally, and ideally you need those hormones to help all of your parts develop normally. And if you spay very early, some of these dogs, their vulva just never develops normally, and it sort of gets held and recessed in a fold of skin, and then it predisposes them to more urinary tract infections and more urinary issues. So whenever a dog comes in the morning, I have talked to the owner beforehand about when we're going to spay. She's about 7 months old. She is really at her adult size and weight now, so it's a good time to do her. Ideally, we don't want to wait too long. It makes it more difficult if you wait later and later and later in life to spay them, because there's more and more fat and tissue to have to manage. And then we talk about managing their spay around their heat cycle. So ideally for me, the veterinarian, it's easier to do their spay before they come into their first heat cycle. For some of these dogs, we have to wait for them to develop their teeth, external genitalia, their bones, their joints, and make sure that we do it at their optimal age for that. If you have any questions about spaying your dog, you can find me at JR'sFullVet.com. Say goodnight to Stella. She says I'm ready for my spay. Take care, everyone.